It's Teller Tuesdays, and it is time for episode 2 of season 2 of Sons of Anarchy, and it is Small Tears. And we have to kick off with 3 facts, and these are actually 3 pretty interesting facts. We kick off with fact number 1. Jack says to Luann, "Do you think we were going to Adriana you?" This is a reference to The Sopranos, and the fact that Drea de Matteo, Adriana, well, yeah, she plays Wendy Case, so it's like kind of breaking the fourth wall, but I actually don't mind wee nods like this, but they're acknowledging a TV show. So in Sons of Anarchy, is The Sopranos a TV show? That's the weird thing about it, but pretty interesting fact. And I think it's like the only time they will reference movies like Smokey and the Bandit and stuff like that. But yeah, a weird reference. I think it's like probably the only TV show that would mention The Sopranos, like in terms of a drama TV show. Coming out at fact number 2, Georgie Crusoe likens Jax to Brad Pitt, and this is an inside joke because most people do compare Charlie Hunnam to Brad Pitt, which is quite funny. And yes, it is also first of multiple times that Bobby Elvis gets shot, because we all know, guys, Bobby likes getting shot, whether it be the arm. Well, it's more or less always the arm or shoulder area. It's like, yeah, he never really takes a bullet to the stomach, doesn't he? Not he never. No, even though it's a pretty big target, he never hits it. But let's dive into the episode of Small Tears. We kick off with Katie Seagal singing. I actually don't mind her singing, but I think when it's a bit obvious it's her, it does kind of take it. Not saying it massively takes away from the episode, but again, kind of like we mentioned with the Sopranos thing, it's like, yeah, I know it's a TV show, but and she can sing if she wants, but I would just kind of prefer if it wasn't her singing, if that makes sense, because it kind of just like, well, hold on, that sounds like Gemma. Oh, hold on, it is Gemma. Anyway, maybe that's nitpicking, not 100% sure. But we kick off the episode. Gemma is lying, battered, bruised. Unsor receives a unanimous tip about this, shows up, saves Gemma. It's like the only bit of cop work we've seen him do in a season and a bit, which is kind of funny. He says that we've got to tell Clay, we've got to get you to the hospital. Gemma says no hospital and we can't tell Clay, but she's like, I've got an idea. She phones Tara, wakes Tara up, and decides to get Tara to patch her up. And Tara says that she can't really do much. We have to get her to the hospital. And then Unsor's like, well, I've got an idea. And then Unsor basically crashes Gemma's car, and he's like, another magical day to be alive. Brilliant delivery here for Unsor. Unsor was really good in this episode. Absolutely unreal. Tara and Gemma do make their way to St. Thomas while using Abel as, like, not the scapegoat, but they're pretending that Abel needs checkups. Meanwhile, Tig wakes up, receives a phone call from Marcus Alvarez. He gives the phone to Clay. Alvarez says that he found one of his guys dead, holding up a 9, and he needs guns. Clay says he's tapped with the ATF stuff and Rico and all that stuff, and he can't give Alvarez the guns. Alvarez is green. Alvarez is like, you better be telling me some straight shit, man. And then Clay's like, I'm as straight as shit gets, I say, and then throws the phone at the wall. Clay's fuming about the fact that the guy was holding up a 9. Tig said, well, it had to be Jack's, because Opie carved the Anarchy A into the stomach. So, not very good. And then we do cut to the meeting here between the 1-9ers and Clay and Tig, because Clay's like, fuck it, we need to get Leroy told it's going to jump off, and he needs guns. And then Leroy's like, yeah, I need guns, 2 dozen AKs, but no modifications to the guns. Tig then says, oh, Captain Black's arriving, which I thought was funny. And then we see someone taking pictures, and it turns out it's AJ West, and this guy is very busy in the opening episode and a bit here. He's fucking getting his hands all over everything. Cameras, biker queens, everything. Everything. Clay goes ballistic though, after finding out that Gemma's been in a car crash, because that's what Unsor's tried to pay it off. So everyone heads to St. Thomas. Clay then confronts Jax about it, and Jax is like, I made a judgment call, heat of the moment, you would know about them, sort of deals. Unsor then says that Luann has been raided, and then Jax is like, right, I'll go visit Otto. He goes visiting Otto, and then we see like 2 white guys attacking each other, and Otto and Jax are kind of confused about what's happening. Then Otto's like, something's trickling down from the top of Mount Whitey, but obviously at this point you kind of know that it is to do with the fact that like Lone have come in, and there's going to be obviously a power struggle within the Aryan brotherhood. Jack says although the club can't help with the money, but they will become a partner and they'll help back off the other producer, which is Georgie Caruso. So this is when we get Caruso, the introduction of him. I mean, I think he's an alright character, but Jax basically goes and threatens him with like Bobby. Bobby throws up on the guy, right? And then this is when Georgie Caruso says, "Oh, it looks like you've got a Brad Pitt look going on." But it just wasn't very intimidating from Jax. Like if this was Jax in season 7, I mean, he probably would have killed Georgie Caruso, but it's just not. It just lacked a bit of a threatening thing, and it's not just Jax. Like it's not like they really helped. I mean, it was just half sack Chibs and Bobby. Like Chibs and Bobby can be threatening, but it just didn't come across as threatening to me. Like if this was Tig, Opie, and Clay, I think Georgie's arse would have collapsed, personally. But it doesn't. Clay then visits Gemma, and then she breaks down after the visit, after because she doesn't tell him about the rape, and then Weston reports that back to Sobel, and Sobel's like, we underestimated the mother queen, brother. But then Georgie goes and beats up Lila. We get introduced to Lila and Ima in this episode. And then Jax kind of goes ballistic at Luann because she kind of raises his voice to him. Well, she raises her voice to him. And then Jackson will head over with baseball bats and he's like, Chibs says, "Nice to see you too, sugar tits." Could have been like quote of the episode, is it? You'll have to find out. But then Sam Crow basically take a vote about will become Luann's partner. Clay's not overly impressed, but everyone's like, pussy! Because why the hell not? And Jax goes to tell Luann, then that's when we get the line about Adriana. You thought I brought you here to Adriana, you? And then she's like, life was so much easier and it was just sucking dick. And it's just like, I mean, I don't mind Luann, but she's just a fucking whore, like, at the end of the day. Otto deserves so much fucking better. But I loved her, and we move on. Then Sam Crow and the One-Niners have their meet for the gun exchange, but then the Mayans lie waste to it, and fuck, man, every meet in this show just seems to go tits up at this stage. The Mayans, Bobby gets shot, a One-Niner, I believe, get killed maybe. The Mayans then actually take the guns. Opie then just goes fucking Rambo, starts spraying at them. I think he might have killed a Mayan or two here, but he just looks suicidal, and you see from the rest of Sam Crow, they're kind of looking at Opie like, what the fuck is going on with him? Tara then has to go to the clubhouse to sort out Bobby's wounds. And then we get like a really good scene, in my opinion. We get Clay confronting Jax at the end of the episode, and basically says that little judgment call you made for the good of the club came back to bite us in the ass and almost killed Bobby. Jack says, I see that. Clay says, whatever you may think, the truth is everything I do to protect what we got. It's never arbitrary and it's never reactive. Been doing this for 30 years. I know a few things. Jack then brings up the point that taking the tag off the mine was the right decision and says, you know that. And then Clay's like, if you start making it personal, then everyone at this club's going to lose respect for you and you'll be handling shit on your own. You think about that, son. Like, you kind of get both points. I think Clay does think it's still the right decision, right? Because I do truly think that taking the tag off and pinning the blame of the murder on the One-Niner is the correct decision. I do genuinely think that, because it puts the Niners in the Mayans' odds, not the Suns. But then again, if Opie is truly trying to send a message because, the Mayans have essentially ordered the hit on me and killed my wife, then it's not the right decision. But the way Clay is like giving the wee finger wag over to Jackie Boy, basically telling him, you made a decision that almost fucking backfired. It's like, well, how hypocritical is that? Because you made a decision to kill Opie, kill his wife, and then that's the whole reason we're in this war, we're in this beef. But anyway, Clay's ego, it can't be dealt with, guys. But man, I thought this was another really solid episode. I believe we gave the pilot 7.5. In this episode, would I say it was as good as the pilot? It was probably near enough on par, but you know what? This is a solo review. Sadly, I think he would have gave this episode a 7. So I'm going to give it a 7 as well. We got a lot of action with the gun deal. You know, it was good seeing the aftermath of, like, you know, Gemma for the last episode, Unser was really good in this episode, and then we get more beef between Jax and Clay, and also they've set up business in the porno business. But anyway, guys, leave your thoughts down below. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10, and let's dive into the MVP and the quote of the episode. As we move to quote of the episode here in small tiers, it is Unsor with the delivery of "as long as he buys enough to get him back to the hood," and I think it's not only like the actual sentence itself, it's the delivery. Because, you know, it was said with like such like a joking meaning, but it was like still semi-serious at the same time. Great bit of dialogue here between Unser, Tig, Clay, Leroy, and then Leroy's lieutenant. And you know what? It was a very, very good episode for Unser as a whole. I felt like he really came into it himself, and that is where we're moving to next. We have to award an MVP. Clay Morrow likes hoovering the MVP award for himself, but as you can see, it is none other than Wayne Unsart winning the MVP. I just thought him finding Gemma, crashing the car, him saying another magical day to be alive. I mean, that again could be quoted the episode. Some of his interactions, it just feels like in season 1 he was great, but I feel like now he feels like an integral part of the storyline that we're going for in the show. But anyway, guys, leave your thoughts down below. That'll do it for this Sons of Anarchy episode, and until next time, peace.